Hey, this is Sasha and welcome to another tutorial, and today I want to share with you how you can change your DNS or name servers within GoDaddy for your WordPress website or maybe some other website that you have. So typically, in order to do this, or the whole point behind doing this, is you have a domain name that's already registered and then you have your website on a computer or a server at some other location, right? So what you need to do is point that name and link it to the server. So that way the name or the domain name is linked to the server. When you have these connections installed or set up, now instead of getting an IP address like 172.52.23, instead of typing in a number into a website, that's how they operate. Now you can just type in a name, like a domain name like google.com, and instead of typing in a number or an IP address, you can just pop into Google because it points it right to the server. So initially, when you set up an account with your hosting company or hosting provider, they have name servers assigned to those IP addresses. So you first need to reach out to your web hosting provider and figure out what those name servers are. Now, if you're using a company like Bluehost, and if you take a look at their page right here and you just do a little search, help, or contact them, you do a little bit of a scroll down here. I found the page where they have their name server, and you can see right here they tell you the name server. Please change your name servers to the correct Bluehost name server. So that way your website is pointing to their computers, right? So in theory, if you really wanted to back things up and you were really paranoid about your website going down, you could have two servers with two different companies. And if something goes down with one company, you would just switch it on your domain side and point it to the new servers. But in either case, most people don't do that. So here in our situation and case, if we're just getting started and we need to point our website or the domain to the servers, you would go ahead and need to note these two names. So it'd be ns1.bluehost.com and ns2.bluehost.com. So those are the things that you need to know. If you're going in with, let's say, HostGator, the same kind of concept applies. Again, you can give them a call to see which plan you're on and what your name servers are, and they will gladly to tell you. But if you scroll down through some of the help files and resources, they'll tell you where you can find those name servers. So you can see right here, they kind of have a little bit of insight right there. Your name servers are right here, which is, they've blocked out a little bit of a few things for hidden information because it might be different, but it's basically ns1.hostgator.com or ns2. It could be ns3. It could be just ns. There's a lot of variations for it, and you can even custom create your own with some hosting packages. So how do you really change these things in GoDaddy? Because normally in GoDaddy, things are already set up when you buy a domain. And you need to, when you buy a hosting package, now you need to point that server to the domain and vice versa. So what you can do is launch up GoDaddy. So first log into your GoDaddy account. So first, now that you're in GoDaddy, and I'm going to block a few things here for privacy reasons, and then if you go to the very top and just click this drop down, right where your name is. So when you're right there, there's a little drop down arrow that you can click. So once you click that, you get a new menu. So we're going to go ahead and click that. And once this opens up, you can see there's a little bit of an area here for manage my domains. So we're going to go ahead and click that, and that'll take us to the control panel. Now, once you're in the control panel, you're going to see a list of your domains. And again, I've blocked out some of these for privacy reasons, but you'll see a list of the domains you have. You might only have just one. Here I have a handful of them. So what you need to do now is edit the name servers. So you'll go ahead and click the domain you want. In our case right now, it's the Dokov Group company, which is my old web design company. So I'll go ahead and click that. And again, you'll be populated here with some details for that domain. So as we go ahead and scroll further down, you can see right there, there's the area that says pretty much name servers. And I'll see if I can make it a little bit bigger for you right here. So there we go. So you can see in this area, this is the name servers. And these are the name servers that you'll have to make changes to. Now for you, you might have something like ns.godaddy or park.godaddy.com or something completely different. It might be like parksecure.com. It doesn't matter what it is. But the point is you need to match those up with the name servers you have from your server, the ones that they gave you. Now, if you've bought your domain from your hosting company, normally they would just do this for you. But if you didn't and you're on GoDaddy and you bought a server somewhere else, or you're renting space somewhere else, this is what you need to change. Now, I've already changed mine to ns1.rise2learn.com, which is a custom name server that I use because I have a dedicated server. But in either case, if you don't and you need to make changes, what you'll do is you'll go ahead and hit manage. Now that you've hit managed, you can go ahead and set up name servers. Now, they have standard name servers right here, which you can see is ns47.domaincontrol.com. Those are the GoDaddy hosting servers. I actually went to custom, and then what you need to do then is probably go ahead and hit edit name servers or add name servers. Now, in my case, since I already have them, it would be edit name servers, and then I would just simply type in what I need in these two boxes, the two name servers that I have. If again, you look at Bluehost, it would be ns1.bluehost.com and ns2.bluehost.com. So it would be basically like this. And then the second one would be ns2.bluehost.com. I would hit OK and the changes would take effect. Now for me, in my case, since I already have this completed, I'm going to go ahead and hit cancel since these are the name servers that I want. Otherwise, if you want to add more name servers, you could go ahead and add a name server. You can add in many more name servers. So I could go ahead and type in another one as a backup. So again, type in another name server, hit add name server, and then hit OK, and you'd be good to go. Now, it's important to understand that when you do this process, it takes 24 to 48 hours to really see the results on the web. Sometimes this can be expedited. I've seen it work within under an hour to 2 hours, but the majority of the time, it takes a couple of hours at least for things to go through the pipelines of the internet. So give it a little bit of time of once you do this for it to pick up the new computers, and then you should be good to go. If within 24 hours, probably you don't see your changes or you don't see things pointing to your new server, then you probably didn't do something correctly. It's then at that point you can either reach out to GoDaddy or your hosting company and see what's going on and what's happening. It may just take another extra hour or two. But in general, once these things are set up and you hit the save button, I'm going to go ahead and hit the cancel button. Give it a little bit of time and then you should be good to go. But that's how you make changes to your name server. So that way the domain is pointed to the right server that you're hosted on. Thanks for joining me in this video. I hope you found it helpful and insightful to changing your DNS or name servers within your website and making sure that your domain is pointed to the right server. Now, if you want a quick little reference guide to some of the links and things that I mentioned, go ahead and click the description or scroll down for some of the links right below this video, and they'll take you to the corresponding pages. Now, in this example, I've used GoDaddy along with HostGator and Bluehost in order to illustrate the examples here. But of course, if you have a different hosting company or maybe using a different domain registrar, the steps are very similar. You simply find out where your name servers are or what they are from your hosting company, and then log in to your domain registrar where you registered your domains and make those changes and modifications. So hopefully this was helpful to give you some insight to making those modifications so that way you can continue moving forward to adding content to your website, making it live, building out your web presence, and evolving your business. Now, if you'd like to see more training and educational videos, go ahead and click this button right up here. And when you click that button, enter your name and email address, and you'll be added to my newsletter list where I share with you some exclusive video trainings and also some live classes. That's where all the schedule gets released, and that way you're in the know when things are happening. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.